Welcome to this video. We're going to continue our redrawing on Tintin, and this is part 16 in this series where we are recreating a panel from the Castafiore Emerald. So if you are new to this, you may take down your Castafiore Emerald album from your bookshelf, or and flip up page 33 and panel A2, or you can find, if you have some scanned version of that, you can put it up on your monitor so you can see it simultaneously as you watch this video, because that's what I am having. I'm having my scanned panel on the left monitor, and I have my own drawing here on the right, as you can see here. Okay, so today we will finish off all the inking. We will do the hand, we will do the sweat drops, and then we will do a general kind of revisit the whole line art, and to see if there's anything we have to, any big mistakes that we have overlooked perhaps, or that we can fix. So let's start going. Oh, before we go, just a quick reminder of my own volume here that I'm working on right now. It's 987 degrees centigrade, and it's science fiction, action, thriller, adventure, and it's a part of the Unlimited Danger series. Alright, so let's go on. We have to, for this session, we are going to continue. Last time we did this layer here, or the decision to put all the inking on one layer, because ultimately that is what we're going to do when we are introducing colors later on. So then what we have to do is that we have to, for each thing that we're inking, we are saving that, and then we are adding with the hand, for instance here. So we have the previous step, and then we do the new step with an added detail here. And now we are just going to, and of course we have multiply on this one so we can see the back, and now we're going to see we want to have the hand, the latest version of the hand. I think that's the one. I don't see any hand other than that. Okay, no. So let's select this layer with the hand there and have that visible. And let's start drawing. And as usual, I'm going to take this up to 400% when we are inking it, so we get a good view of it. And I'm doing the same now on the original here to my left, which I cannot show to you because of copyright reasons. I don't have anything to do with Hergé or Moulin Zar or Casterman or any of these, so I have no right, and the copyright laws are rather strict, I think. So you have 70 years after the author has, or 75 years or something like that. So that's, we have another 50 years to go before we can show this. But of course you can get of course you might get some permission from Casterman, who owns the right, who owns the copyright. But maybe we can do that in a later video if Casterman comes along and says that okay, you can reproduce one panel, no problem, if you were doing this series. I mean, that would be great. But other than that, we are keeping ourselves better safe than sorry, as they say. And we're not doing only for our sake, we're doing it for Hergé's sake and Casterman's sake as well. So it's not just a sort of keeping ourselves legal, but we are respecting our... It's not just about protecting our own not going to jail sort of thing, but it's about respecting other people's independent work and their efforts and their rights. Okay, so I have B selected, I have a brush, and I'm going to increase it to 4 points as I usually do here. And I'm going to go back to the original panel here on my left to just center it as I have it here on my right. And I'm starting down here with, and I'm adding a slightly different angle here because I see that in the originals. And this curvature here seems to be pretty good. And I think the overall position of the hand is also, or maybe not. Aha, okay, I see something now here. Okay, right. Or, well, maybe not. Okay, there is some scope for revision here, but I think okay, so if we just move this, so I'm going to change this a little bit. So we move this one to the left, because I see the position should be closer to that left collar there. And then that stroke sort of almost gets tangent to the hand coming up there. So, but we are inking now in the same layers, so all these. But the good thing about the blue line is that I checked the position, because that was still in its own layer, so I could have moved it a couple of pixels either way here to just fine-tune it with the inking we've done so far. So that's so handy to be able to fine-tune the distances. Now I'm going down to 3 pixels here. And there comes this bump here. And we have more ink here on the very tip of the finger. And here is another. This is another place where the ink is increasing while we're approaching the tip. But in this case it's on the sort of fingerprint side of the finger. Well, there's also a lot of ink here at the very top, but I think compared to, I think that's what we see, what we feel, so to say, that this blackness here is so black because there's so little white next to it. So it's an unusual amount of black when there is so little white. It's usually the other way around, that it's more white, a finger is more white than in every outline, in almost every case. There's, of course, not in the mouth here, that's also another example, but so I'm not sure exactly how he did this. I mean, in terms of if this is, if he went over it a couple of times with his ink pen, I don't know, or if he did it in one stroke, I don't know. It would be interesting to see how he did that. Whenever you draw these lines, I mean, I hear a lot of like recommendations of how to, you should always do this, or you should always do that, or you should never do that, and never, in terms of like how should you hold your hand when you're drawing the lines, and you should always move away from your body, or you should, that's the time when, you know, all the lines are getting as smooth as possible. Or some say perhaps that, oh, you should always move towards your body with your strokes, because then you will get the best line. And so I think it's individual. I have to actually, depending on the angle and depending on your tools and depending on so many things. So you have to try it out and try to make nice lines and try to, and then you'll see what you feel, what the best feeling is also. I think that's underrated. What is the best feeling I have when I draw the line? What is most convenient, or what is most comfortable, or what is, because if you're going to draw a lot, then it's perhaps better to be comfortable than anything else. And most artists are like that, I think. And most that, yeah, I mean, good drawing doesn't come by just sitting 5 minutes. So you have to sit hour after hour after hour which is the whole experience, of course. And it's just now let's see if we perhaps so what I see over here is that there's still blue shining through here, and my expectation is that the blackness isn't black, it isn't enough black, so I'm filling it in a little here, trying to cover the blue as much as I can and still have a nice line. It's hard to see, so I think I'll switch now to going to remove the hand down here, and we're going to fill in what's not black enough. Scroll back up to the layer so we just see it, and then we are going to continue with our black, and this, and now I'm going down one, I'm going down to a 2 brush because I want to just add a little so 2 pixels for the moment, which isn't a lot. Good, and then there's some angle and there's some black we need there. And that area seems pretty good. That, like that, good. Maybe this portion actually goes a little down here also. The tip continues a little longer down there to this point. It's very, very gradual. I think you have to do this with white here. This is gradual transition here. With a little less white there, or a little less black here actually. Almost unnoticeable, but almost in one straight line, and yet not. As just the amount of angle, this is incredible. The 0.08 degrees. No, I'm just kidding, of course, but still, it's the subtlety of these lines is, oh my goodness. But it's a lot of fun here to sort of do this archaeology here, to try to see what they were and how the lines were actually drawn, and how they come together, and how they there should be more black down here, but actually not until here. So there's a fold here happening in the little finger, but the fold seems to happen a little later here than I have done here in the, and that so it sort of shouldn't start until a little later there. How to get all this in. So it has to fit with this a little bump here on his knuckle. Have to redo a little here. There's also a little strange thing going on in my original here, because as I said in one of the previous videos, there's the coloring is printed. There's an offset. Well, it's an offset printer, but everything is. There's a dark blue line here, or the color from this blue background is going into the little finger here, so it makes the little finger sort of the impression of this white area is not. It looks thinner than it actually is, so there's one, because of the faulty printing. Well, I think this is probably adequate. And then what we can do also here is that this line here in the middle of the hand here is actually a little bit thicker as well, so one pixel more or so. Like that. They're quite strong. And then also this here goes tighter into the little finger. So all these are covered, and the thumb looks pretty nice. Although its position to the ear has changed. Or actually we did some fixing here of the earlobe here, so that it so now the ear is but of course we could change that already. I mean, there's nothing to stop us from doing that, but in terms of the color, in terms of the position here, in terms of in this portion here, it seems to be all right. So I don't see really how we can move it closer to the ear. And the ear's position in large, I mean, it looks pretty good to me. Okay, so I'm going to take this up to 400%. And I'm going to look at it from far. And I think it's reasonable. So I think we'll leave it at where it is. I think we'll just leave it there. And we will now fill in these details here that are intersecting, so to speak. And this line I can't really see it because in the original here I wonder maybe this color here is go down one step here too. Maybe this color is, I mean, to me it looks good. There's something fishy going on here. There's some angle there that, so okay, so that's one thing at least. There's some angle there that goes a little, there's some bent line there, and this line also happens inside there. So here, so this one here, you should see Tintin's face, the outline of Tintin's face here, this line here. But here the shirt itself comes along and goes down more steeply there. That. This is a little blacker there, and this one as well. And then we have the space there, and then comes this line and this. But there is some discrepancy in terms of, is it the angle of the hand or is it the size of the hand? Because I think the size of the hand looks great, but maybe I'm off. Maybe it should be a little bigger. To come closer to the ear, I mean. And also to cover a couple of pixels here also. So it seems as if the hand would but then it can't, right, then it can't, no, I think that's the, so I think the hand is okay. And possibly it is, because when I look at Tintin here at the very left, I see that the hand is sticking out too far, actually. It shouldn't stick out so much. But then when I go here, and so if I were to move this hand in, let's say 5 pixels or something, then we will come closer to this color here and hide more of this, which is in the original. But then that would bring the thumb even more away from the ear. So the real culprit is, I think, that there is that this angle of the thumb or even the whole hand is slightly off, which brings us so if you fold this angle down, then you would come closer to the ear, and then you could retract the whole hand. So it's a pixel work, and I'm not sure we should do that right now. If we should do it at all, actually. But that is what I see in this. So then we have to sort of decide if we want to make this better or not. And I'm just looking at it now with both the old version and the new version, or I mean the original and my version of it. And I think that there's okay, I'll just do some retouching of this here first to get the right angle down here. So I'm thinking about whether we actually should do this or not, moving the hand, because now when we're moving the hand, it will, since we have inked it, it's more of a, of course we should have seen this before, but it's easy to be looking at things, as I say, 2020 backwards vision after the fact. So it's but of course it's also an opportunity to see, to master our editing skills. So I think so. Let's do this as a fun thing then. Let's play a little game here then. So let's just cut out the whole hand, and here we're going to do it more. Since we have the Tintin in the back here, we're going to go quite. So we'll be doing this, of course, in a separate layer, so there's nothing we lose. We can always revert to the old version here. So like that, and we copy out that and we paste it in exactly the same hand, and H for the hand tool. Now that we it fits very well with our object of attention here right now. Okay, and then let's see, judging from the position of the fingertips, I'm going to move it a couple of pixels in, and that is approximately the position I want in terms of here. This is how much it should cover. However, when I'm doing this space here seems to be too big. And how can this be then? Well, it could be because maybe I made a mistake here, that this line should have, because if we take the thumb as a, it should actually go right down there. So maybe the thumb or the ear, maybe the ear is also a couple of pixels off to the right. So we will see here what if we can get some. But in terms of the position of the fingertips in relationship to the back of his head, this seems to be closer to the original, and it also seems a better match with this. I mean, I could even do it like that, and I think it's even better. So I would vote for this, and then this area would be a little too big, I think. Maybe it's just this fold here. And this should go up to the mouth, and it should be above there. Okay, I think I'll put the hand there for now. But then what we have this down here as well. I don't want that to be that big down there. And also the hand, when it comes here, it sort of goes to this collar here, so it seems to work fine. And So what I think I will have to do here is I have to cut this, and we are going to rotate the thumb like 2 degrees or something. The angle of everything. Okay. And I'm going to look at the hand only to see what we have. It looks like that. And I'm going to make a copy of all inked. Removed the hand here, so that we can add the new one. And I'm going solo on that one here. So I'm going to remove all of it here, all the hand here. So I'm just using the pencil and so we don't get any. And then there will be some pixel here that we lose here from the background, but we can easily fix that. It's a very localized. It's just his shirt here, so. Okay, whatever we have here. Good. And now we have the new hand up here. Okay. And we want the panel frame and the balloon as well to go as we can see. Alright, so I think we can accept this. So I will now remove the hand, and then we can. Alright, we should flip the thumb a little. Okay, let's copy the lasso here, and let's flip the thumb from here, this point here. Copy, paste the new layer here, and you saw that Photoshop did not paste it in the same place. So it should have been pasted there, but Photoshop didn't do it. So I corrected it first, and then I'm rotating it a little bit. And then I am moving it back a little, and I'm also sharpening it. Let's see, because when we rotate it, we always make it more blurry. Maybe that was too much sharpening. Let's see, we have sharpen. Yeah, something like that. More natural. Okay. So the lesson is not too much sharpening either, so it should look like the rest of the drawing. Okay, good. Now we save that, and this is thumb here, and the question is now, should we merge this? Okay, I think we can do that. It could be a little more to the right, perhaps. I think the thumb can be a little more like that. Okay. Well, something like that. So let's take it there. I'm going to do a little sharpening. Okay, let's do that. And we can, let's make those two one layer, so we have the hand fixed. And then we can paint on that layer to fix the background. And here should be white. And here should be black. Here should be black as well. And we should make that curve a little more like that. That's better. And then still we have this ear thing. It's a little too far away from the ear. So maybe we should move the ear a little bit to the left, but yeah, maybe 1 pixel to the left. Let's do that in another layer here. So let's cut the ear and double click. Yeah, there it is. Copy, paste, and it pasted it in the same place, so that's perfect. I'm moving it one pixel to the left. And I think that still works with the distance to his back of his head there. So I think this will be a ear. So then we can merge all of them together, and the ear is under the thumb, so the thumb goes over here. So it didn't matter that I had a pretty big selection of the ear. Okay, so we have all the intersections covered. Maybe I can just add a little more black down here, there, and in this intersection, because here in the original there's almost no white space at all here, so this one goes very tight in here. Looks something like that. And then this stroke here is thicker than this stroke here. And also this is higher up here. So maybe this area isn't so bad after all, except for the angle. So, but still I think the white here should be less white here. There should be more black on this line I'm working on now. So, okay, and then we should go down there. And this line here, I'm Xing now my way to whiteness. White is like going a little different angle down here. And I also must fix this intersection here. It looks like it's blurred. And there should be looking more like this. Okay, so we have that intersection, and maybe we should have some white there also to tidy that up. Okay. It's hard to do this because if I go here, I'll have to fix this line as well. And this should be more straight, this line. So. Okay. And again, this line doesn't go to this line directly, but I actually think that this straighter, but no, it should be more rounded there. And there's one pixel black we have to get rid of. I have to go in there and I have to fix that separately. Okay, that's more clean. Alright, and then we have the black line must go more there. Straighter down. Okay, So I think it's time to merge these. So take this one and this one and this one, and we do a Control-Alt-E for making a new copy and merge these three fields or these layers. Okay, so we have that, and now we're going to add the sweat drops. So the hand will make away with, and where do we have the sweat drops? R2, here they are. And we also have to all inked with fixed hand. And the sweat drops, as I said, we are going to get those, and then of course we have to make that multiply so we can see the sweat drops, which we have in another layer. So now we're just going to go up 400% as usual. I'm probably going down to 2 pixels here for my brush. Yes, 2 pixels, and then I'm going down, or I'm not going down, but I'm actually scrolling on my original panel here to the left to be able to see all the 4 sweat drops at the same time. So I have my monitor something like this on the other screen there. Okay, and now we have with the fixed hand, and now we are adding these sweat drops with sweat drops. And of course I just want to see that. So if we zoom out, and if I go solo on this all inked layer, this is what I see, right? So we are building up gradually this whole line art separately from the balloon and separately from the frame. So now we just have to paint the sweat drops, and we should almost be finished with the line art. So brush 75%, 2 pixel, black. And these sweat drops are kind of hard to draw, because they're quite small and they have there's so little white in them also, so it's tricky because of the sort of the size of them. If we were to have zoomed in perhaps on Tintin's face more, or a larger scale of the sweat drops, then they wouldn't be so difficult. But by nature they are quite small, like ants. So we are, but even so, this third sweat drop is the biggest one. I think we said that already in one of the videos, that they are not all equally big, even so, just as all ants are not equally big. Perhaps a bad analogy, but still, there's some individuality to them. So it's not just this exact same shape and the same size, but they're slightly different, which adds to the whole organic flavor of Tintin, which is handmade, and this is also very visible in the hand lettered text in any edition. I think most editions were hand lettered, at least the ones that I have seen. I mean, the English version, the English edition, and the Scandinavian edition, and the, I don't know even if an American edition, but I guess they were, because they arrived in the I mean, even in the 60s, I don't think that they did typesetting of. So it's all organic, and in that hand lettering, the actual hand lettering, not that which is nowadays called lettering in comics. Lettering in comics nowadays doesn't. Very few people are hand lettering their comics. But when you do that, that's the beauty of it, and it becomes organic, and it becomes all letters are different from each other, and you can actually feel it. It's very nice. It feels human. Right, so now I'm going to manually look at these 4 sweat drops, and I'm going to adjust the whiteness inside them here, so that the whiteness is equal with the original, or closely that. So you get the same sort of overall feeling that the amount of the white is approximately. And then we should have some outer adjustment there with more like a speech balloon here than the other ones with the tail hanging down there, but slightly different shape, and that's also. So we learn here also then we get a sense, we get a feel for the design of the sweat drops. So so when we do our own comic book, we can we know a little bit about what's looking good on the page, or at least that we have one what should we say, professional version of that we could emulate if we wanted to. So I usually say that it's not a bad thing to first look at what did Hergé do with Tintin, and then from there you can decide whether or not you want to do that yourself, to use sweat drops in this way. Perhaps maybe you don't even want to use sweat drops. Maybe you want to express your the emotions of the character in some other way. But if you do use them, this is one way of actually. So there are many things, of course, combined here. So it's about the shape of the sweat drops. It's about the size of the sweat drops, and it's about the relative position of the sweat drops in the face, and the direction of the. So it's not just about position. They has to be arranged nicely around his head in a some sort of fashion, and the algorithm or the system by which you do that is not entirely. I mean, you could say that okay, the sweat drops are pointing inward, but I mean, this sweat drop, for instance, it is pointing inward, but where to? Is the sweat drops coming from the brain? Is that it? Is it some kind of what is that pine tree structure inside here? Maybe it's the thyroid. No, it's the thyroid. It's a pineal gland. It's the pineal gland. Maybe it is. Maybe that's what it is. He's not because the problem is here. He's not putting the sweat drops perpendicular to the tangent of the face. If we think of like you have 90 degrees out, and then you should like that go in there, but this is not 90 degrees to the. It should point like this, inside like this. This one might do the trick, but not in this one either, because it's off. It should go more on. If 90 degrees to the surface would be the algorithm, but it isn't. It seems that all of them are pointing. If we look at all the angles, they all come together in the pineal gland. So maybe that's Auger's point, that he sort of takes a point in the middle of the brain there, the third eye, right? And that is a sort of origin of that the sweat drops radiate out from that center position. Okay, so there's a slight digression here, but I think basically the sweat drops are done. It looks like there's some black there in the middle there that shouldn't be there, but maybe that's just an illusion. We are going to look at the original also in 600 to see what's going on there with that. And there is some blue inside there, which so there's so much white. So this is the effect I was talking about before, that there is a bad printing of my French edition of Castafiore, les bijoux de la Castafiore. So what I see as blue here should actually be white. So hopefully this will. So this one will look more white to me inside than it looks on the real page. Because but still it could be more elongated here in terms of the blackness. So it could be on the top here, it could be more. Well, I'm going to leave it at that. Or do I? It's hard when it comes to pixels here, but maybe we want something like that more. Okay, let's go with that. Okay, so we're looking at the panel now, and it's inked, and it looks pretty good. Just a question here of all the strokes are connected to each other, except for those in the hair, of course, which are not. And then, as you can see, I inked outside there. But if we go back to the normal mode here, so I have multiply mode now. Oh, here it is. Yeah, here, multiply. But then so on the frame here, I can control this. All right, so I have. So what we should do is simply go back to, I think the most crucial thing is Tintin's face. So I'm going to go back to 400% Tintin's face and I'm going to redo the outline. I'm going to look at that again to really, I think this is pretty good actually in overall, the overall quality, except perhaps on the back here, because the back needs more ink. So I'm going to go back there, and I'm going to make a new layer with Tintin's outline fix. Okay, outline fixed. So back to the brush. I'm at 2% opacity, and I have black on my brush, and I want to have this a little more black here. And a little more. And here it should be a little less, and that starts here. to get this transition right here. That this line should be more like that. A little thicker and okay. It looks a little shaky here still, but maybe that's just this stroke there. I wonder if it should be a little. Yeah, okay. I'm going to bring it in a little bit more here. That's a finishing kind of thing here. Smooth this out. So how does this look at 200%? It looks a little wavy. That is the problem. Oh, it's wavy. It's incredible that these small angles and these small half pixels, they actually do matter in terms of creating the whole appearance. This is less wavy. Ah, good. Alright, so I think I'll leave it at this stage here, and at this and that we now have created some nice line art that we can now color in the next video. And before we quit, a little reminder here: 987 degrees centigrade. This is my project, Unlimited Danger Season 1. Thank you very much for watching, and if you have any comments or questions and suggestions, please do leave them in the comments area. See you in the next video. Bye bye.